All right, welcome everybody. My name is Yusuf, also go by Y1. I'll be your moderator today. Welcome to the Jay and Dre podcast. This is our first episode. I want to introduce you guys first to the two hosts. Jamar, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people?
All right. As you know, Dre and Jay, I'm the J. I'm Jamari. Pretty much a Dolphins fan, from since I've been young, and we're gonna go head to head today, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm Dre.
Dre, you
I'm
want
what
to go
they
ahead?
call the little bandwagon. You feel me? Just because I root for the Eagles, they want to get on me, but it is what it is. My die-hard Miami.
All right. Today we're just going to be discussing a quick topic before the Sunday games begin. And then we will be doing another podcast following the games to see how our two hosts here did with their predictions. So we're going to dive right into things without further ado. Today's topic that we'll be discussing is, since Jamari is a Dolphins fan, we're going to go ahead and see if you guys believe if Tua Tagovailoa is the future of that franchise or if he's worth investing in. Since Jamari is the Dolphins fan here, we're going to go ahead and start with you.
All right. So pretty much, me and Andre been kind of debating the last couple of days whether or not we think that Tua could be the future. Pretty much his side is that he feels that over already 9 games that he's played, he should have been blowing us away. Not necessarily Patrick Mahomes, but I'll be honest, when I first saw that Tua got drafted by the Dolphins, I was expecting this guy from day one to just blow us away out of the ballpark. I've already begun to accept that that's not going to be the case. You know, I feel like for a quarterback to determine that that guy is going to be your franchise quarterback, you need more than eight games. I think 8, 9 games he's played. We need more than that to determine whether or not he's going to be our guy. Am I going to say that he's been above average and he's been great? Absolutely not. He's just been flat out average. I'm not afraid to sit here and say that. Us as Dolphins fans, I understand we haven't been contenders for a long time, so we want that instant gratification. We want to know, okay, from day one, we want to know this is our guy because we don't want to sit here for another 5 years trying to figure out, okay, is this guy our quarterback? Then we draft another quarterback next year. Is this guy our quarterback? So I could understand, if you think right away, okay, this guy's a bust. We have a number 3 pick next year. Let's just go ahead and pick another guy. I could understand that because, like I said, you want to know right away if this is the guy. I feel like today, in terms of my prediction, I feel like, the Dolphins, they have to win. They don't necessarily have to win today, but I feel like if they beat the Bills, it'll make a great statement for Tua as long as he plays well. Fitzpatrick has COVID, so there's no bailing him out this game. There's no bailing out Tua this game. Tua either has to perform or he doesn't. Is this guy comes out here, throws interceptions all over the field and gets benched, then my mindset would be we have to draft another quarterback. But for him this whole season, he's been at least average. So that should, we've all been debating like, you know, for Andre's side of the topic, pretty much we don't know what he is. Exactly. You're right. We based on how he's played, we don't know what he is. So why would you just throw him in the trash after 9 games? If we don't know who he is, wouldn't that think to you that we need more time and need more games under his belt to determine whether or not this is the guy? Let's go out next year, surround this guy with some more talent. Yes, we may have Devontae Parker, but he's barely on the field. The other guys that we have on the field are all could probably not even start on other teams right now. We got to give this guy a chance. 9 games is just not enough to determine that, I feel. I've always went out on a limb to say that when I saw Josh Allen his rookie year, he didn't look, I mean, other than making plays with his legs as a pure passer, he didn't look very good. I myself would be
He had some
100%
big balls
honest
on him.
to be the first person to say, I would be the first person to say that if I thought, look at this guy 2-3 years down the road, he's not going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And this guy has already taken his team to the playoffs in back-to-back years. This year he has Stephon Diggs. Last year he went to the playoffs and they didn't even have Stephon Diggs. So like my input, my thing is just give this guy more time. I'm not saying we have to give him 7 years like Tannehill, but at least 2 more seasons. And he has I just feel like we just got to give him some more time. We see this guy from Alabama just throwing 300 yards, 5 touchdowns a game. So obviously we want to see that from day one in the NFL. I've already grown to accept that's not the case. So let's just take some time out, give this guy at least another season and a half under his belt, and then we can make a determination. You know, we want to kind of make a determination now because of how good our defense is. We might not get a number 3 pick for a long time, let alone probably a top 15 pick for another how long until maybe we're trash again. So a lot of people may say, oh, right away, right now, let's use this pick because we're not going to have another pick like this in a long time, unless we trade away a big time player. So I can understand where you're coming from on that. But pretty much just for my prediction for today, and I'm gonna pass it over to Andre. I think that Tua Tagovailoa is gonna come through for us this game. Based on what I saw for the past 5 minutes, it looks like Josh Allen is gonna play. I don't know how many series he's gonna play, but their starting corner Tre'Davious White is inactive for the game. So Devontae Parker will probably be going up against their second string corner. But I feel like Tua is gonna come through. He may give us 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and let's say he throws 1 interception. I don't think he has the most perfect game, but I think we lean on our running game very well, and that's going to be our prediction.
That's a hot take, Jamari. Before we hand things over to Dre, I want to give the viewers a little insight on today's situation. So the Dolphins are in a win and end situation. You win, you make the playoffs. If they lose, they could still possibly make the playoffs, but a lot of things has to go right. Basically, they control their destiny today by winning the game. You had a pretty good point. We're gonna go ahead and see what Dre has to say to rebuttal that, and then I have some follow-up questions.
Myron, you better than me.
The viewers don't know who Myron is, Matt. Y1. I go by many names, by the way. Myron, Y1, Yusuf. You might hear that throughout the
Everything
podcast.
this man said was cap, bruh. In sunny Miami, this man Tua Tagovailoa. This man put up 93 yards, 17 passes, and you expect this man to go up in 30-degree weather, and it might be raining today, and just have the game of his career and take us to the playoffs. That's what you're saying. After 93 yards getting benched against one of the worst defenses in the league, and you think he's our guy. He's our guy. A guy that they're going to trust to push down the field, bro. If anything, I give credit to our running backs if we win this game. But Tua is not the future, bro. He's just not.
So, sorry to cut you off, Dre. You also are a supporter of the Eagles, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the Eagles are actually in a similar situation with Jalen Hurts, except what I'm seeing is they don't need to keep going back and forth. I feel like they've already chose who their guy is, and they just keep their foot on the gas with their guy. The Dolphins are in a little different situation where they throw Tua in there, then they take him out, they go back to Fitzpatrick, then they put him back in there. Dre, do you feel like that's a good thing to do? Is it eating up his confidence? How do you feel about them keep juggling back and forth between quarterbacks?
The coach has no choice. As much as Will's and other Dolphins fans want to say that we have to work with him and, give it a couple years, look at our defense. Top 3, we're in a win-now situation. You're not going to get a defense like this every year that's just forcing turnovers. X is not – what's the odds of X having a season? I feel like we're in a win-now situation, and our coach is basically doing whatever it takes to win. I know it's going to kill his confidence, but he's not pushing the ball down the field. That is a concern. The goal of the game is to score as many points as possible. You can't rely just on special teams and defenses.
Right. So Jamari did make a point, Dre, that I do want you to respond to. The Dolphins, they are in a position where they could win now. They have the right pieces. They have the right weapons to start winning, and they're looking into the playoffs. And it's very rare that a team of this caliber could have a top 3 pick, which they do. Now, how do you feel like they should go about that pick? Because if you're unsure about Tua, you might not get it. Long-term speaking, you might not get a pick that high to try to get a top tier quarterback from the draft. So how would you go about that pick, that number 3 pick that the Dolphins have this year in the upcoming draft?
Well, personally, I always joke and say I would rather have another player in college, but after seeing what Trevor Lawrence did, I don't know. We still might not get him. I say get a veteran. There's a lot of veteran quarterbacks that are free agents after this season, and Miami could very much be in the hunt to get one of these guys. So I feel like we should
So
get it
you
on a
get a
receiver.
veteran and let Tua kind of learn from him a little bit,
Yeah,
but keep giving Tua a chance.
correct. Put him on the bench and get somebody like a Cam Newton or a Jameis Winston. Yes, you looking at me crazy.
Mm.
You looking
Did this
at me
man
crazy.
just say Cam Newton? Did you see how Cam Newton looked this year?
Get him one of those receivers out of college, you know, Jamar Chase.
Cam Newton?
Yes.
Let
Because at
Jamar,
least he
you
can
want
move
to
the
go ahead
ball
and
with a touch upon Jalen Hurts. You said
Okay.
that my Eagles are in a similar situation where they basically had to take out Carson Wentz. I love Carson Wentz, but our O-line is terrible and we just can't move the ball. Jalen Hurts can move around and make things happen, make plays with his feet. Tua doesn't even have that ability as a rookie that other rookie QBs have had. Like Lamar Jackson has struggled with throwing the football, but he can improvise. Basically, if Tua doesn't have an open man, bro, it's a fold, bro. He has to take the sack or throw it away. Most of the times
Right.
he's taking a sack, which I don't like. I actually hate it.
That's
And
Right.
I feel like we could get a mobile quarterback or get a Jameis Winston, and
Okay.
get a receiver and move from there and just have until Tua can learn how to throw his receivers open, bro. Put him on the bench, bro. Put him on the bench.
Okay. So I want to hear Jamari's opinion on that take. In terms of, so you mentioned getting a veteran, right? That's what you want to do, Dre. You want to take the route of maybe letting Tua sit down for a little bit and learn from a veteran. Now, let's discuss some options here because you did mention some very hot names. Cameron Newton,
That's your
Carson
guy.
Wentz. Carson Wentz is another name out there that might be on the market. You mentioned something about Jameis Winston as well. So my question to Wills is, are those options maybe a Phillip Rivers? I don't know. Are those options, are those names that we threw out there, do you see that as the better route than drafting a quarterback? Or how do you feel about that, Jamari?
Okay, so interesting question. So first of all, it's actually kind of crazy because when he said get a veteran quarterback, I thought he meant as in like a Matthew Stafford,
Right,
or maybe even Sam Darnold, so one of those guys. But he said Cam Newton.
I wouldn't call Sam Darnold a veteran though.
Okay, let me Darnold. Okay, let's say like a guy like Teddy Bridgewater was available or something like that.
I don't want.
Let me ask you a question, Andre. We're 10-5 right now with Tua. If I'm not mistaken, with Fitzpatrick, we were 3-3. So if you do the math, that means we've been 7-2 since Tua has been in the lineup. Now you could say that it was special teams and defense carrying us all this time, but the quarterback still has to keep the game within reach for us to win the game. Right or wrong?
Did he keep us in the game?
I'm talking about
83 yards against Denver. When he got pulled from that game, they tried to act like bro was injured.
Okay, I'm talking about in terms of the games that we won. He had to at least have a decent game for us to win the game, right or wrong? Because he could have went out there and he could have thrown 3 picks and lost the game, right? Am I right or wrong?
Only has 3 games over 200 yards, Jamari Williams.
But listen to what I'm saying. He had to at least play at least average or decent for us to win those games, right? Right or wrong?
We're in a win now situation.
Answer my question.
We can agree he has to keep y'all in the game.
Yes. He has to keep us in the game.
But with that being said, Wills, you do have to keep in mind that the bailout was Fitzpatrick every time. That bailout is no longer going to be there.
Fitzpatrick came in and gave us a chance in that Denver game.
I agree. That's fair. But the point that I was trying to make is that with Fitzpatrick, we were 3-3. With Tua, we've been 7-2. If we're 10-5 right now, take Tua out and put in Cam Newton. What do you think our record is? Since you mentioned Cam Newton.
You can't say Cam Newton. We've seen what Cam Newton can do when you put a solid team around him, like the Dolphins have around Tua. Cam
That
Newton
is true.
doesn't
He
have a
didn't have any
receiving core. He
weapons in
doesn't
New
have
England.
Gesicki.
So you think so? 10
Cam
and
Does
Newton,
3.
the,
What
does
do you
the
think?
team get better or worse with Cam Newton?
I
Pretty
think
much.
it's
What do
getting
you?
better.
Pretty
He's
much.
gonna beat Denver. He's gonna beat KC.
You really think so?
Yes, he's gonna beat Denver and he's gonna beat KC. That's 2 more wins, and we wouldn't have to be.
So you.
We'd
So
be
you
benching
feel.
our starters today.
So in terms of being a pure passer, you think that Cam Newton is a better pure passer than Tua?
Do you think I care about pure passing? I care
I
about
mean,
pushing the ball down the field. I don't
I mean,
care.
I mean, obviously, you have to be a good passer to push the ball down the field, right?
Right.
I mean, not necessarily. Lamar
Jamari,
Jackson.
I want to ask you a question, Jamari. Usually with a young quarterback, when they show promise is when they get to stay in the lineup. Somebody like a Jalen Hurts.
Right.
The list goes on, right?
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. You got Baker Mayfield this year stepping up a little bit. All those young quarterbacks, you could even Joe Burrow before he went down.
Mm-hmm.
They all showed some type of eliteness in at least one category that makes
That's
you
true.
want to stick with them. I'm not going to say how I personally feel, but I do want to ask you, has Tua, and this is for both of you, has
Okay.
Tua showed any eliteness in a specific category that
Just
you could
accuracy.
say that's his game? Like he's either a deep passer or an elite runner or a scrambler. What has Tua showed that makes you feel like we could trust this guy moving forward? Jamari, you could go ahead and start.
Okay, so I'll be 100% honest. That was a good question. I'll be 100% honest. Has he showed us anything elite specifically that I could take and run with it and say, okay, this is what we're looking for? I'm gonna be 100% honest and say no. Okay, one of Tua's biggest things that came out when we came out of college is his pinpoint accuracy. So we may go now 100% honest. The majority of the time, his first read was always open. But at the same time,
he had elite receivers.
He had elite receivers. But at the same time, the ball still has to be on point. You can have, I feel like Cam Newton, yeah, he might not have had the most talent in his career, but let's not act like Cam Newton was the most accurate cat, even though he had wide open receivers. Am I lying? Cam Newton was never one of the most accurate quarterbacks. And that's why I feel like Tua. That's why I feel like for Tua specifically, the thing with him is, like I said, I feel like he's so prone to always having a guy wide open that now he's in the NFL, it's hard for him to want to take that risk. That being a quarterback, that's a very big issue to have. And that's why I feel like we have to at least give him a chance to see if he's going to break out of that, because as an NFL quarterback, you have 3 seconds to throw the ball. You can't wait for a guy to be wide open. Most of the time, you're not going to get that.
Right.
This is the NFL. So what I've seen, my point is we just have to give him another season to develop. Even if we were to
any accuracy, one play in mind that kind of impressed me, that made me say, I like this cat and I want to try with him, was the Devontae Parker touchdown pass. In his first game. That was something special. In double coverage, the man was about to
get us the.
They'll probably stitch the two together so the viewers could see